Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
What is up, Summoners? Welcome to the channel today. It is good to be back on the channel. I'm trying to pick up and make up for lost time. This podcast, the bottom line, this is the third episode, was supposed to be out last Friday, but obviously had a lot of things going on in my personal life with my family, which I think pretty much everybody is aware, probably anybody that's watching or listening to this, I should say. I had a son. Me and my wife had our second son last week, which all of that went about as smooth as it could have possibly gone, which I guess is easy for me to say, considering I just kind of sat there. But shout out to my wife. We got there, the timeline of things, we got there Wednesday night. Let me think here. Yeah, Wednesday night. We left the house about midnight. Well, I guess technically it was Thursday morning, between like midnight, 12:15. I think we got to the hospital sometime around 12:30-ish. Got settled in the room sometime around 1:15. They get you all checked in. They got a bunch of medical questions, all that to go through. Finally, I think sometime around 2 is when they medicated my wife to try to induce her. We got a little bit, at least I got a little bit of sleep that night. And then I think it was at 1:15 on Thursday that afternoon is when we had our son, which he was completely healthy, was a big boy, came in over 9 pounds, which is why they were inducing her, because they knew he was going to be a big boy, didn't want him to go another week for fear of my wife. But yeah, everything was fine. Really, everything was as smooth as possible. My wife was recovering quickly. The baby was fine and healthy to the point where we actually left that next day. They told us we could stay for 2 days. Insurance would pay for 2 days, but honestly, we would rather spend the night dealing with everything in our own bed at our own house. So we opted to leave. And I think we got home Friday sometime around dinner, like 5-ish, 5:30, something like that. And really, things went well Friday night. Saturday night, I actually got quite a bit of sleep. He was waking up somewhere around every 4 hours, I don't know, somewhere around there to eat. So that was actually really not bad at all. However, things really changed last night, which would have been Sunday night. I think he was just kind of waking up to the world, and we call him the milk monster. He was up from about roughly like 1 to 5. I mean, just eating constantly. So there was very little sleep that we got last night, and I would anticipate probably for the next couple of weeks things to follow that pattern. So honestly, I kind of had anticipated this, but I don't really see myself being able to stream at night for this foreseeable future unless something drastically changes in his sleep schedule. But we try to get to bed as early as possible, like sometime around 9:30, whenever we put our 2-year-old to bed. Try to get as much sleep as we can before he wakes up after midnight, because you're going to be up for many hours after that. So that makes it very, very difficult for me to come in and to stream at night, to go home and then be up, because I don't have any time to sleep. So like I said, I was anticipating that, had talked about possibly moving my live streams to the mornings, which again, that all really just hinges upon whether or not I get any sleep or not. It's going to be difficult to be up all night, get like 2 hours of sleep, and then come in and stream and be like coherent at all on the live streams. But I don't know, it's just going to be up in flux at this point. Just stay tuned on all of that. I will get some time put together for streams. We'll get those worked back into my life, my new schedule, but it is just going to take some time. Eventually, I probably will move those back to the evenings, but that's probably going to be many months down the road before that happens. But anyway, I'll keep you guys up to date with what is going on through these podcasts, and obviously through videos here and there where I can. At some point, I would like to get more of a set schedule where every week I put out like a calendar for the week, like I'll stream from this time to this time, Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, whatever it's going to be, so that you guys have a better idea of what actually is going on. So once again, thank you for all the kind words, the well wishes, everything that was sent my way, my wife's way, our family's way over the past couple of days. A lot of support, very kind, and can't thank you guys enough. If I haven't already, I'll post one now. Here's a picture of our son, the chunker that he is. This is Joseph. Welcome to the world, Joseph, and the JL Gaming family. So Let's jump into the week that was and talk about last week's cutoffs, the predictions that were made, where everything landed, and kind of predictions moving forward for this week. We had the second round of Medusa and Old Man Logan, and in the first round of Crossbones as the featured, Psylocke as the basic. Medusa actually went up a little bit in the second round, which I don't know why I was surprised by that. I originally hit it spot on the first round at 16.4. I was expecting her to drop a tiny bit, but still stay pretty high. I put it at 16.2. It actually ended up at like 16.6, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised by that because I forgot that she does have high prestige. I think she is number 4 overall on the prestige list, which if you throw out Thanos, that means she's number 3. And whenever you have a character that is a very high prestige, you're going to get very high cutoffs as well. If you look at the Green Goblin arena, his prestige is like barely just above her, and he's not nearly as good as she is. So shouldn't have been surprised by that. Should have known that cutoff was going to creep up a little bit. But yeah, I saw that one at 16.6. And then Old Man Logan, the second round went from 2-1 to 2-2. Again, not really much of a change there. It looks like those old characters, because I believe Black Panther the week before that did almost the same thing. When you've got old, very old, like OG characters or characters that are not like really have a ton of utility or people don't really necessarily want, they almost always fall in that 2 to 2-2 range. That's kind of what I'm seeing. So that's probably the prediction that I will give for most of those OG old characters. Man, I can't talk. I've been away from the channel too long. I can't talk. I've been talking baby too much the last couple of days. But anyway, so that was the first round of last week. The second round, which was the first round again of Crossbones and Psylocke. Crossbones I was predicting to be around 8, and it ended up being a little bit higher than that. I think it was like 8.7. Which, you know, that's kind of on par, I guess. I think Agent Venom was somewhere around there as well. Crossbones is a really cool character. Wasn't surprised by that. I guess I was a little bit surprised, especially since he's in the 5-star crystals now. I guess I was a little bit surprised he went that high. But I would say second round is probably going to be very similar to that as well. I would say it's still going to be above 8. So if you're grinding for him, if you really, really want him, I would say you're probably going to want to do north of 8.5. As for the Psylocke arena, that one I was totally blown away by. Before I left last week, and then one of the last live streams we were talking about it, I was expecting Psylocke to be like very similar to the Hood. I thought as far as utility goes, like they were very similar characters. They've got some utility wrapped up into them. They're both very unique. Playstyle is pretty cool. Animations are pretty cool, and so I expected that the cutoffs are going to be similar. So I was thinking around 4, high 3s, 4, 4.2, somewhere around that for the first round. Thought it would probably fall under 4 in the second round, but it fell way below that. 2.7 is the number I just saw from True Coast before I jumped on here, which very interesting to see that the participation in the Psylocke arena for the first round was actually higher than we had in the Archangel arena in the first round. Don't quote me on these numbers, but I think what I saw was 137,000 participation for Psylocke, and I believe Archangel was 135, which I know we had the hurricane and everything going on, so that could speak to some of that. But yeah, those numbers, I don't know, I guess I was a little bit confused by that. I thought for sure we would see a higher cutoff for Psylocke the first round and then see it drop the second round. But I just tweeted out and said, hey, make sure you get in on this Psylocke arena. If you were sitting out expecting it to be higher, couldn't do 4, 4.5 plus, whatever it might be, you know that number is way lower than that. Make sure you pick her up. Very solid character. I know kind of there's two schools of thought. Some people think she takes too long to build up for the power lock, and I will say she's not the easiest character to do power lock with. But again, on the other side of that, if you are newer to the game, you've got a smaller roster and don't have a good option for power control, she still has a ton of utility. It's very good for that. So for a character you can pick up under 3, definitely make sure you jump into the arena and do that. I would probably expect her cutoff to creep up a little bit, but honestly, it looks like cutoffs will probably stay low. If you do anything north of 3.5, you're probably going to be very safe for her in the second round. Okay, moving on from the week that was, the cutoffs, I want to talk about sponsors, which I know I've been totally out of the game on this. These dropped like the last day. Was it last Thursday? No. Last Tuesday? Wednesday. Wednesday, there we go. I did a Wednesday day stream, which unfortunately it did not send out a push notification to the subs, so I apologize that nobody got the notification that I was live. Really wanted to hang out with everybody, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. The sponsors dropped basically the requirements where you only had to have 1,000 subscribers, and the sponsors were open to you. That is a big deal. I had been trying to figure out how to gain a sponsorship through YouTube for a long time. There really was almost no information about it. There was no way for you to apply. Basically, YouTube would approach you if they were interested. It was kind of a beta test thing. There were only a few, relatively few gaming channels that could have it, but it looks like now they have opened it up to everybody, and I'm really excited for that. In addition to like the sponsorship program, I had wanted to put together a Discord server for a while that would include, and I didn't really know how I wanted to do it, if I wanted to include like Stream Kings and things like that from the live stream, but this simplifies it. This is much easier for me now. We will have a Discord server that I'm going to put together, and I'm in the process of doing that right now. I have one put together, but I'm trying to figure out all the permissions and the mods. I'm very new to that. But we'll get a Discord server put together for general chat. I know people are always asking me for my line ID to be able to contact me back and forth directly. But we'll be able to do that through the Discord server. I will send out general invitations to the general chat for that, so that you guys can hop in, talk with me, talk with each other, discuss things on the channel. All that will be wrapped up in there. And then specifically, if you want to have direct contact with me, we will do that through Club 801 is what I'm calling it. That will be the sponsors only Discord chat, where we will probably at some point not only have the private Discord chat for sponsors, for Club 801 members, but we will probably also eventually do live streams specifically for sponsors. So there's just a lot of interesting things that we now can do with that, which I don't want to exclude people who cannot support the channel in that way. I don't ever want people to think that they are not valued because they're unable to sponsor. Like, that is not the point of this at all. It's just kind of an additional thank you to the people who go kind of above and beyond, who support the channel through the sponsorship program. So that is very new to me. There's a lot of things I will be adding in the coming weeks, coming months to that, as we build kind of the Club 801, which it should be a lot of fun. One thing that I'm not good at is creating emojis, like the special emojis for the sponsors, the special badge for sponsors. I really don't know what I want to do yet. So yeah, just hang tight with me there. I'm not nearly as good with that stuff as a lot of the other people are who've got like Photoshop and all that. So just stick with me. There will be a lot of changes coming to the channel. In addition to that, I do want to give a shout out to Jim the Rocker. I've been working with him through email back and forth the last couple of weeks, which it's been kind of slow just because on my end I've had a lot going on. But he reached out to me several weeks ago and asked if I'd be interested. He would help me out putting together a new logo for the channel, and I'm very excited to be able to hopefully over the next couple of weeks, as we get the sponsorship thing rolling, we'll get the new logo up. So shout out to him. We'll also probably be changing the name of the channel from my name to JL Gaming. That will match my Twitter handle. JLG, I guess, will be short. You know, that'll be the Joel Line Gaming family. So anyway, there's a lot of changes coming to the channel, a lot of changes in general in my life, but a lot of changes coming to the channel that I've had planned for a while that I will be rolling out over the next couple of weeks, so certainly look out for that. In addition to people who have reached out to me, this would be a good time to mention this. I have received several emails ever since I started putting together the Champ Refresh video. Like, I've had people spend like really large amount of time typing out like full refreshes on characters that they would like to see, and I've done a bad job in the past of recognizing all the hard work and giving shout outs to people who have done that, so you know who you are, and I apologize. But I just recently got an email I think it was last Thursday. It was last Thursday, because I didn't respond to him because we were at the hospital. And he asked that I don't give his name, so I won't give his name, but he knows who I'm talking about here. Shout out to you, sir. He brought up an idea that I really like, and that is having a community champ refresh video where instead of me, like, I'm not going to stop doing it, but instead of me sitting down and refreshing the champ, I will put together a video asking like, hey, you know, if you've got any really great ideas for, let's say, I don't know, who's a character we can, Ant-Man. Let's say we want to do a champ refresh on Ant-Man. I'm opening it up to the community. If you want to get involved with that, you're welcome to email me, and I'll look through those, and you know, maybe the top 3 or the top 5 we'll put together. I'll put together in a video, and then we can have people vote. If you're interested in taking it that far, I could just simply bring the ideas that people have to the community, or we can make it a little bit more fun than that and actually have kind of a how do I want to put this, like a contest kind of thing where the top 3 or top 5 will have voted on, and the winner of those, you know, maybe I'll be able to badge you specifically in the Discord server, or we can mod you in the chat. We can have a list of the winners. I don't know, just some way to recognize those people. And have a little bit of fun with it as well. I know that there are a lot of people who enjoy those videos, who have a lot have better ideas than I have, and I hope this is maybe some incentive and a way to get those ideas out of the community into a format that can be spread throughout the community itself, may also make its way up to Kabam. Who knows? I say that all the time, but I doubt those ever will make it that far. But maybe just a different idea for doing the champ refresh videos. So certainly let me know what you guys think of that down in the comments, whether that is something you'd be interested in doing, whether that's something you would just like to see the ideas, or if you'd like to turn it into a contest. If you have any further ideas along the contest as far as how to kind of recognize the winners of that, totally open. Would love to hear any feedback on that you guys have. And then there is one more topic that I would like to discuss that is weighing very heavily on me right now, and I know it's probably weighing heavily on a lot of the community, and that is finding ways to keep the game interesting and to keep you coming back to it with the changes that were made to the game. I don't want to say it's easy, because that's disingenuous, I think, to a lot of people who are newer to the game that find the game difficult. And I don't want to come across as a type of person who's like over the top dramatic about just how easy, because it is difficult. There are still parts of the game that are difficult to get through, that take real focus and time and effort to get through, and I get all that. But I think you can understand what I'm saying. When you lose the competitive factor of the game, it affects so many more areas. You know, I do not want to spend necessarily the time and effort into grinding for a featured arena when, one, it really doesn't matter how awesome this new character is, because the content that we have does not require any more awesome characters than I already have to get through. So I don't want to spend the time, units, and efforts to get new characters for no reason. And then secondly, with the upcoming 6-star characters, you know, that gives even less of a push for me to grind for these 4 stars. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do it, but I'm finding it more and more difficult to stay on the grind and to stay interested, to log in each and every day. That is affecting my joy in the game. It is affecting my content that is on the channel. I'm finding it more difficult to make content, to make guides, because I'm just not having a lot of fun. So ultimately, what I'm trying to do for myself is to find other ways to keep myself intrigued, whether that be going back. And for myself personally, there's just been so much going on, you know, in the grinds and everything, that I have not even completed story quest like 5.1 or 5.2. So I'm trying to keep myself interested by going back and completing all of that. You know, for yourself personally, maybe reaching new prestige milestones, that might be one way to keep yourself intrigued. You know, if you're trying to save up units, this might be a good way to do it. Save up as many units as you can, really tackle something difficult like Labyrinth of Legends. If you're new to the game, tackling something like Realm of Legends or Road to the Labyrinth. You know, just keeping yourself motivated to log in. You're trying to, you know, you've got to be able to find a reason to log in and to play. And I think for a lot of people who are in my similar situation, that is becoming more and more difficult. So, you know, just look for ways to keep yourself challenged. I guess that's the only thing I can tell you to do, which that will be different for each and every person, depending upon where you are at in the game. But certainly this is a topic that I would really like to open up and would love to hear some feedback down in the comment section. You know, if you are finding ways to keep yourself interested in the game, if you're sitting in a similar situation that I am, you know, I would love to hear feedback on that. Not only to help myself out personally, but I'm sure there's others in the community that would like to hear that as well. I have full faith that the Alliance War changes will take place. I have full faith that eventually we will see new game modes come out that will be more competitive and more intriguing. I think that I feel like we keep talking about this, but it is just such a dominant part of the discussion that just kind of overtaken MCOC here recently, that I feel like I can't have a conversation about the game without touching on the topic in some way, shape, or form. But I feel like there's been enough really good creative content from content creators, from folks on Reddit and the forums, things that have been brought forth, that I hope that will influence some sort of meaningful change. And I do believe that it will. I just hope that it will come about in a timely enough way that there are not too many people that leave the game. Because what happens is, once you leave the game, this is the type of game that if you leave even for a month or 2 months or 3 months, and you get behind the grind, and you really feel like you've missed out on a lot of characters that you need, it is difficult to motivate yourself to get back into it. Because typically by that time, if you're a gamer and you're not just going to quit MCOC and stop playing, you're going to fill that void with something. It's not just gaming, it's the competitive factor. You're always looking. For some people, it's just looking for a time filler. For others, it's more than that, and I think there's a lot of people that would agree with me. It's that competitive factor. It's the reason to log in every day, to push your account, to make strides that you really want to put in the time to grow. And when you drop MCOC, you're going to pick up something else, and it's difficult then to come back to that if they make changes down the road. So I hope that I can stop talking about this soon. Honestly, I have spent hours and hours and hours over the last, month and a half talking about this, and I'm sure I will continue to do so. But I hope that we do see some meaningful change announced. That is the big thing. I know that they have recognized that there is a problem, but I would like to see efforts to communicate that to the community as far as what it is. Not necessarily specifically, but just say like, hey, yes, these are some general changes that we will be bringing back to AW. I don't need to know exactly what's going to happen. I just need to know that, yes, they recognize that the competitive factor needs to be put back in. And hey, we're gonna be lowering item use. We're gonna be bringing back defender kills. Just something. There are a million different things. I'm not gonna get into all that. There's a million different things that have been presented, and I do hope that we hear from the developers soon, kind of working towards that end. Well, I don't know how I always manage to ramble on. I was going to make this one shorter because I do plan on putting another one of these together on Friday. I was thinking like maybe 10 to 15 minutes would suffice, but I'm looking at my recorder. We're well over 22 minutes at this point, so that's just me. I guess that's why I did the podcast, because I typically have got a lot to say. And honestly, there's a lot of other things that I want to bring to this. I know I say that constantly, but this will continue to improve, will continue to change as time goes by. We'll add more things to it, and I've enjoyed it so far. I like just turning on the microphone and talking. I like getting the feedback, like hearing from you guys. And as I said in the last podcast that we did, if you have topics that you would like to discuss, if you have questions that are more involved than just a quick answer through the comment section on YouTube or Twitter, this is an excellent opportunity for your voice to be heard. If you want to leave that comment here, or you can hit me up over on my email, joellinegaming@gmail.com. The link to that is in the description. My Twitter handle is in the description. You can contact me there. And then again, like I said, we'll have the Discord server up and running. I hope some point this week I will have that up. I'm still very new to all that. I'm actually watching YouTube videos trying to figure out exactly how to work the permissions and the mods with all that. But that will be coming soon as well. So keep your eye out for all of that. And then, like I said, I will put another one of these together on Friday. We'll get back into the normal swing of things. All right, guys, I appreciate your patience with me as things change in my personal life, as the channel changes, hopefully always for the better. But look forward to getting back into the swing of things, at least on the content side this week. Maybe a little bit of lag time before we get back to streaming, but that will all come eventually. All right, guys, as always, thank you for the support. Thank you for listening. Until I see you all in the next one, take care. Have a great day.